The three stages, the three levels of NLP mastery, where are you on that stage, and are you really where you think you are? Because way too often I have seen NLP masters pretending they master it, or that they master hypnosis, but their life is a complete mess. So according to me, if you pretend that you master NLP, you are a famous coach, well, at least you are a competent coach, but your life is in a complete mess right now, you have completely missed the point. That is just my opinion, but to me NLP has to be used as much as in your own life as it has to be used on other people that you are helping. Otherwise, it is really not as useful as it could be. So this list of three different levels, this chronology of three different levels is kind of subjective. It is what I would put first, second and third. So you may agree, you may disagree, but at this point I do think I have some interesting points to share with you. So you are going to listen carefully. Ou sinon j'arrête de parler en anglais et vous vous démerdez. So the first essential level is what I call basic understanding. It's about basic understandings of all the various techniques. Maybe you won't know all of them at first. You may just, I would say, just know the essentials. You know about, some modalities, pacing and leading, Milton model language patterns. At least you have a bit of understanding of what it is and how it works. You don't master anything at this level, but you have a basic idea of what it looks like to use NLP, of what it would look like if you were able to use NLP to the level you want. I would say this stage ends once you have successfully handled one problem, either in a client, either on a friend of yours or on yourself in your own life. Once you have successfully handled the problem with one of the tools you have learned in NLP. On my side, it was learning how to change the submodalities of the fucked up scenarios I was making in my mind about my future. So it was using an NLP tool, submodalities, with a personal problem, me being anxious about my future. Once you have used one of the NLP tools, whether in a negotiation, whether with yourself, with your personal anxiety or self-confidence, once you have done that successfully at least one time, this first stage is over and you get progressively into level 2. Level 2, which is what I call having a complete strategy, the level of complete strategy, which means you are developing a strategy for yourself with a mix of different NLP tools, no matter what they are. Maybe you like to use this kind of rapport technique with this kind of hypnotic language, with this kind of visualization, or you like to use that hypnotic induction. Whatever it is, you just have a complete strategy in mind. Like if I was asking you, what is your usual procedure to work with somebody, to work with a client around his problem, you should be able to right away fire something very quick, very simple to explain from you on what do you do first, what do you do second, what do you do this, even if there is a bit of improvisation, but at least you need to have a good structure in mind for what do you do first, second, third, fourth, no matter how many steps you have. But you have a complete methodology in mind for how to solve a problem in therapy, or potentially in your own life too, but essentially more in therapy, like when you want to help people, or when you want to change an objection in sales, like what is your natural procedure to do that. And at this stage, you may not be flexible enough yet to work with every possible client and any possible kind of resistance, but at least you're capable of working with, I would say, most basic problems. Like somebody comes to you because he's biting his nails constantly, and this is just a natural bad habit. It has nothing to do with some big trauma or anything. You would be able to deal with any problem like this or on this basic level. So stage 2 ends, level 2 ends when you are able to do that, to work with any possible basic problem with the same overall structure of steps that you have developed. Then comes stage 3, level 3, the real level of mastery, where comes the whole flexibility concept and the whole improvisation concept. Improvisation ability. This is where you start to mix all the tools together and you start to invent even new techniques, new patterns, new methods, and you start to improvise and you start to use things you didn't even know you knew. So it is the level where you have been absorbing so many tools, information, YouTube videos from Matteo, stuff like this, that at some point you just find yourself using all this stuff naturally, and you're not even conscious of all the mental operations you're doing to find out the solution to that problem, the right reframing, the right redefined pattern to use with that statement, the right objection handling with that person. You just find yourself using that naturally without even knowing how you got at this level, which comes back to, unconscious competence. On the 4 stages of learning, once you get there and you don't even know anymore how you have been succeeding at this or that. And this is also what I would say personally, the level where you you have been developing some meta-consciousness of what is happening in your life, which means every time something bad happens in your life, you are not just stuck anymore into the present situation, it's horrible, I don't know what to do. You are able to think on different levels because you have been doing reframing for so long, you have been using hypnotic dissociation or improvising metaphors for so long that at some point your mind is so trained to evaluate a problem on many different levels that you can right away evaluate a situation from different perspectives, and which doesn't mean you will never have a problem ever again in your life, definitely not, but at least you will have much more thinking potential than somebody who has not been trained, than somebody who is just stuck at the first level, I don't know what to do, and just cry, scream, get super stressed. At this stage of NLP Mastery, you will have so much more tools to develop, so much more tools to improvise solutions and to change the perspective of a problem into something else, something new, that you won't be stuck anymore into basic levels problems that most people have around you. Which may also bring the point that you may consider a bunch of people as complete idiots at this point. Nothing mean to say about this, but just you will be able to find so many solutions where people are just stuck forever that you may have some distance taken from a few people you have known in your life, because you will just not relate anymore to how they think, to the problems they have. You will just be elevated kind of higher, which is a good thing too, because you will start to surround yourself with people who think the same, who have the same mental ability as you. So it's just like elevating in life. But basically this is what I think is happening when you really master NLP, what I found out from me or people I have encountered who were really masters at this whole stuff too, is that we really tend to evaluate problems in a way that most people can't, or think it's just impossible. Because of the language skills we have, we change this language, the way we phrase a problem, we can reframe in so many different ways that we always find some solution into, oh, actually this problem can lead to that solution, or this problem, if we take it that way, turn it around and describe it in this way instead of that way, we can find a solution to this. All those things are just firing up in our brains naturally all the time. Now, of course, we may still have some problems sometimes that are difficult to deal with, which is why surrounding with other people is extremely useful, because when you are 2, 3, 4, 5 brains at once, it's way easier to deal with problems than when you're just by yourself with your own anxiety or whatever you have trouble to deal with. But essentially it is, I would say this, elevating your consciousness to a level, to your mind, to a level where you can solve way more problems and you have more acuity into dealing with things that most people can't deal with. In communication too, you will be able to find so many more things that people say into people's language that, that leaves clues about what to say to reframe what they just said or what has to be changed in their life that they are completely blind to. But you will have this acuity into finding what needs to be done with that client, with this client. It will just pops up in your head like this all the time. Now, if you want to know more about how this whole conversational change methods work, you have a complete covert hypnosis tutorial in the description at the first link, and you will learn in there all the methods to make somebody change through language. You can also use that with yourself to pay attention to your inner dialogue, how it may be fucked up sometimes and how you can change it. And you can use that technology to help people change whenever they have a problem and they come to you to be helped.